junior wide receiver Nikko Remigio. Go ahead and let me know in the chat you want to ask questions, and we'll get to you. So we'll go ahead and start off with Jeff Ferrato.
Nikko, last year you finished up with a flourish. The last 3 games you're really productive, and it looked like you and Chase sort of developed a rapport. Is that something that automatically, carries over to this season, or how are you feeling about that and the momentum you developed late last season?
Yeah, definitely. I bring up a lot about chemistry, and even during quarantine, I was fortunate enough to be in the same area as Chase, so we were able to get some routes in and keep our momentum going from last season. So I think that being able to capitalize on that in the time that we had off and really going into season with it is something that's really nice to have. And I definitely think we still have that chemistry.
There's a lot of wideouts, experienced guys in camp, and you guys are going to probably utilize a tight end maybe a bit more than in the past. Do you have any sense of kind of any goals for yourself in terms of numbers, or just kind of what you would like to contribute to the offense and what your impact would be?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely gets interesting because we have the shorter season. But I think just for start, a touchdown a game, I feel like that's contributing the most that you can really as a receiver and productivity wise. So I feel like just keeping it real simple and trying to score every single game is a goal of mine right now.
So getting in the end zone is what matters, obviously, huh?
Absolutely. We definitely need points to win.
I think you've got 3 career touchdowns. Has that been something that you feel like you should be able to amp up a little bit?
100%. 100%.
Thanks.
Jeff, you good for now? We'll move on to Chase Travers with Rivals.
Yeah. Hey, Nikko. One thing Chase mentioned was kind of getting back the rapport between quarterbacks and wide receivers. Did you feel like that was kind of rough these past few days? It seemed like it got better today from what he was saying.
Yeah, it honestly didn't seem like too big of a jump. Like I said, even with the time that we had off, we were able to get quite a few throwing sessions in during quarantine and all that. So the chemistry didn't feel too off balance. I think it was more so with the new guys in the freshman class. We have a huge freshman class that just came in. So I think more so developing chemistry with those guys was the biggest offset that I've seen. Sorry about that.
No worries. To follow up on that, you mentioned the freshman class. There's 5 true freshmen, and I believe it on scholarship and a couple of walk-ons, I believe. What have you seen from those guys, and have any of them been standing out even in just these 3 days?
Yeah, I definitely think it's still early. I'd say a lot of them definitely have potential. It's still early to get a gauge on really who's standing out. There hasn't been too many opportunities that I've seen where they're able to make plays. We're still pretty early in the install, so as far as our deep routes go, we haven't hit too many of those yet. But Jay Bake and Jeremiah made a pretty big catch 2 days ago or yesterday. So I'd definitely say that was big time for those guys.
Yeah, and you mentioned the install is kind of early on. How are you feeling about that? I know when we talked back in, I want to say July, you talked about it being a systematic kind of offense, that one thing built upon another.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the great thing about it is that we got the offense back in the spring, and we actually installed the whole thing. So really it was just taking the initiative yourself when you were at home to really look over those plays and get used to it. I think now the biggest difference is actually running those plays against the defense and having realistic looks. And I think those are the kinks that we're working out now. But as far as knowledge of what plays we have and what we're doing and our responsibilities, I feel like everybody has a pretty good gauge on that and understands their playbook very well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Shaylin Singh from the Daily Cal.
Hey, Nikko, what do you think this year's wide receivers group, what are you guys' biggest strengths compared to maybe previous seasons?
I'd say experience. Last year we lacked quite a bit of experience. And I think really just having the same group of guys and really just the same offense in general, we're only losing, if even a handful of guys, just going into this year with a different level of confidence and a different level of chemistry with the quarterbacks and the rest of the offense that I think is going to be huge. And it's going to be the biggest difference for our offense this year.
And then you specifically, what do you think you have tried to improve on the most this offseason?
Yeah, all the basic things, bigger, faster, stronger. I think being in college football for the past 2 years and playing, the game has slowed down for me a bit. I kind of compare it to when in high school. I started as a sophomore in high school. So really, like, I see a lot of similarities in just how the game is able to slow down and how you're able to build that confidence as time goes on. So I'd say for me, it's a confidence thing, while also physically being bigger, faster, and stronger.
Thank you.
Let's see. Do we have Jackson Moore? You have one?
Yes, Nikko, can you share how similar or different your role is in this offense compared to last year?
So this year, I'm actually going to have the ability to play outside this year. So I think that's the biggest thing with this offense is we're able to really flip-flop guys around and switch up our looks and have different threats from the slot be on the outside and the outside guys be inside, and really it just adds a whole new level of versatility to our offense. So I think that's something that's huge for our offense this year.
I know it's still really early, but I mean, is there any gauge of where you guys are at relative to the defense compared to years past?
As far as
sometimes we'll say the defense is ahead of the offense early in camp or so. Is it any different this year in your eyes from the team periods?
I mean, it's very early.
Mhm.
I think, even during quarantine, we've all been working. Like the few times that we did have to run routes against each other and compete and stuff like that, like everybody is pretty much, I feel like it's balanced and it's very competitive on both sides of the ball. So I don't think any side is falling behind one another at this point in time.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? All right, Nikko. I think we're going to let you off easy tonight.
I think we have one more.
Can you guys hear me?
Got one more, Kyle. If
Oh, we do have one more. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Nikko, I just wanted you to just give us a sense of what you think the testing process each day is like for you. Is it easy? Is it a pain? Is it uncomfortable? And also just kind of what your level of confidence and trust that you and your teammates are going to stay safe through this whole process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, Cal, everybody working with the Cal facility in our program right now has done an excellent job of making sure that we've been safe and really taking cautious steps to ensure our safety. And I think that's been one of the biggest things in comparison to other schools that I really admire about our university. The testing daily, it's not too bad. I mean, some guys can be babies about it, but I don't find much of an issue with it.
One of those
really that just
babies, right?
Excuse me?
Chase is one of those babies.
He might be. I've tested with him a few times, but he tries to stay quiet. But yeah, no, but definitely it adds a level of confidence just in being able to go out there safely and compete against other players. And also considering that this is a Pac-12 wide testing service that we're doing also adds another level of confidence to go out there and compete.
How have you dealt generally for the last 7 months with the virus? And I mean, in terms of, have you been nervous about it, or you've been pretty cool about it? Or?
Yeah, well, at least for the beginning when I was home, I just had to be wary because we lived with my grandmother. So just having to be extra careful with everything that we were doing and really trying not to leave the house if we didn't have to. But now that I'm out here by myself, obviously taking those same safety precautions just because we are playing and stuff like that. But I guess subconsciously, I'm not worried about affecting like my grandmother or something like that. I'm just coming home back to myself. But yeah, no, it was definitely tough. And I mentioned before that it's hard because I felt like I had lost like my sense of purpose because I wasn't really working towards anything. You know, classes were online, and I've been playing football my whole life. So, you know, just like not knowing if we were having a season, it was just a very weird, unknown space. Sorry, my roommate's watching the Laker game. But yeah, no, I just had to do a lot of self-reflecting and stuff like that. But I feel like it was good time to take away. But it was definitely tough. It was
So
definitely
these last 3 days, now that you're practicing again and sort of have a more of a normal reality again, is that kind of brought you back to where you always felt like you were?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It feels really good. It feels really good.
Thanks, Nikko.
Okay, anybody else have anything? If you do, throw it in the chat real quick. Otherwise, we'll let Nikko get out of here.